Let's get sweaty.
Hey guys, welcome to another Shenmue Dojo video. Today will be Shenmue related, but it's a bit of a strange video, I guess, in that I'm going to talk about the RGG Studio Summit, which is happening on the 15th of June or 16th of June, 4 AM UK time, which is approximately 11 PM Eastern time on the 15th of June. Essentially, what they're doing is they're having a summit and they're talking about their next and upcoming games. So while it's unlikely to have anything Shenmue related, there was a rumour pop up on our Discord, which I will come to later in the video, but I'm going to timestamp it for you guys here so you can skip straight to it if you want to, which is sort of half inspired this video. Plus, I'm a Yakuza fan, or as they call them now, like a Dragon fan, and I wanted to sort of just talk a little about my realistic expectations around this summit and some of my more unrealistic expectations, I guess, around the summit. So, realistically, we are going to see more of Like a Dragon Gaiden, the man who erased his name. Now, you may recall this was announced alongside Like a Dragon Ishin and Like a Dragon 8 back in September 22, and it's already slated for a 2023 release. So it would be massively surprising if we didn't see a new trailer for this, and I would say release date. I can't see it happening this half of the year. I'd be very surprised if they dropped it that quickly, but I'd be expecting a release in the latter half of this year. What it is due to essentially tell is the story between the end of Yakuza 6, Yakuza 7, and leading to potentially Yakuza 8, with Kiryu having essentially disappeared, and how he ends up in the role he did in Yakuza 7 or 8, or Like a Dragon 7 or 8. And I keep going between Yakuza and Like a Dragon because it's ingrained in my head, I guess. Next, I expect to see Like a Dragon 8 details. There's not a lot on the ground here. Ichiban, we know, is returning, and the turn-based gameplay will be too. My big question here is, will it be less grindy? As for some of Like a Dragon 7, it was quite grindy. There was a massive skill spike with the bosses as you move through the game. You had to do essentially a couple of dungeons to grind yourself up to the level to be able to cope with that. So I'd like it to be a little bit less grindy, but the storytelling was fantastic. So I anticipate that Like a Dragon 8 is going to have a really good story behind it, and we know Kiryu is going to be in it, albeit with a very, very silly look. I also think it's realistic we could get a new game from the studio, or new games possibly, and that sort of leads into one of my more unrealistic expectations, but we'll get there in a second. Possibly a Judgment title. Within the cycle of the Like a Dragon games, they like to throw in Judgment titles as well, as like a stopgap almost. And it's been a couple of years since the last Judgment game came out. So all being well, they could in theory announce a new one for a 2025 release, which would be fantastic. Worldwide release would be really, really good. And I'd be more than happy to see a third title in that series. It's obviously the beat-em-up style game, very much like what Like a Dragon Gaiden will be. It's going to be the beat-em-up style rather than the turn-based style. So again, if you haven't checked out Judgment, go and check those games out. They are absolutely fantastic. Now, let's get on to the more unrealistic things here, shall we say. There's two strands to this. Virtua Fighter 6 and Shenmue. I will do Virtua Fighter first. As we saw a couple of months ago, we saw Yu Suzuki and the director of Virtua Fighter together in a restaurant recently. Now, that could have been two friends chatting and catching up. There's nothing wrong with that, of course. Could this be in part prepping for an announcement with the RGG team taking on the main bulk of development from Virtua Fighter 6? Bearing in mind that they handled a lot of the Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown port over to the Dragon engine, could we see that happening here with Virtua Fighter 6? What engine could they use? Because bearing in mind now that they are starting to focus more on the Unreal Engine, which I can see the point in doing, and what may that look like if it does happen? It is unrealistic. It's a pipe dream. I want Virtua Fighter 6. I'd love Yu Suzuki to be involved with Virtua Fighter 6. And if RGT are doing it, fantastic, because they did a really good job with 5 Ultimate Showdown. We'll see on that one. So, I guess the bulk of this, and probably why you've stuck around if you haven't used the timestamp in the description below already, is Shenmue 4. Now, I bring this up because there's a baseless, I say baseless rumour, I always say it's baseless with these sorts of things because there's nothing really floating around that I've seen anywhere on the internet that backs this up. So always take this with a pinch of salt. but this is why I'm bringing this up. So I'm going to bring this up on the screen for you guys right now so you can have a look for me. So this was filmed or put together on Sunday, the 29th of May. This came out on the Discord, and you can see at the top here that basically someone is saying that Shenmue 4 will be released on 23rd December. Heard a guy at Game Kings TV in Holland talking about it. It's going to be a Sega developed game, but it has no sources, just words. Take that what you will, I guess, essentially. Obviously, as a Shenmue fan, I would be interested, don't get me wrong, but I took the liberty of obviously challenging this a little bit more, and I would suggest, in all honesty, that this is not real. Quite frankly, I'd be very, very surprised at this point if this was real at all. Not to say that it may not be, but come on, really? I'd be very surprised. I'm happy, absolutely happy to look like the class clown here. If I am completely wrong, I'll take that all day. I will happily take that all day. So why I sort of bring this up as sort of an unrealistic expectation, I guess, is could RGG be doing it? That would be really cool as long as it didn't lose the Shenmue essence of what makes Shenmue. And Yu Suzuki would have to be involved for me on an advisory level or on a directing level, something, because it's his baby at the end of the day. He is the creator of this. So, as I say, it's very much a baseless rumour. I'd be very surprised to see anything come out of this other than nothing. Straight up, nothing. But there's always that very slim possibility that something could happen. And if it does, as I say, fantastic. I will look like the class clown, the class idiot, and I will take that all day if Shenmue 4 was to be announced at the RGG Summit. It's not going to happen. It really isn't going to happen. I'd be very surprised if it happened. But we can dream, right? So, guys, thank you so much for dropping in with the content as per usual. Don't forget to give us a like, share, subscribe, all the usual places across YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, etc. I'll be back with a new video in the not too distant future. But for now, guys, take care. Have a good one.